What is going on, guys? Off the Line Motorsports here with another video on the E30. I have got the intercooler core all welded up with the end tanks on. Get this out of the way a little bit here. Custom made end tanks, had them done, just kind of designed them real quick, sent it off to a company, Send Cut Send. Came back a few days later. I bent them myself, 3D printed press dies for just my regular benchtop press. Worked really good to put these bends in the sides of these end tanks here. I have yet to put on the little nubs coming off the bottom of the end tanks. I'm probably going to start there first. Kind of show you guys how I do all that. I'm going to be coming down here. You got to drop the pipe down there. It's going to go down basically right over there. Then come out over here, back up, and up into the left side of the intercooler. Then on the right side, it's going to come down, around, over, kind of back up in there where you can kind of see I've got a pipe hanging down already just for basic mock-up. But then that is going to come up somewhere close to right here and go through the throttle body into the intake manifold and go from there. So it shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Like I said, I'm going to start by getting some little nipples on the intercooler itself. Working from there. Kind of done a little bit of basic mock-up just with some bends. I did buy just this kind of universal 3-inch intercooler piping kit from Amazon. With my budget, I have found this to be the easiest, most effective way to get all my mandrel bends, straight pieces, 45 bends, 180 bends, 90-degree bends, all that stuff. And then I can just kind of cut and fit everything together out of that. So that was like maybe $100 or so, maybe a hair over that on Amazon. I will post a link in the description. So yeah, gonna start welding the nipples on and start mocking everything up, and then hopefully final welding it pretty shortly and going from there. So So here I cut my nipples to length from a straight piece of that 3-inch intercooler pipe. Then I got my sweet deburring tool to clean up the inside, which really makes things easy. I then got my 90-degree die grinder with a 120 grit flap disc to deburr the outside. Then I'm going to get ready to tack it up. So when I'm tacking, I'm usually got my machine set on AC for aluminum at about 125 amps, just under 20 CFM, which is probably a little high, but of argon flow to protect that weld. Now, what I didn't show in the video was me cleaning the areas that are going to be welded together. Usually wipe them down with acetone, get all the residual oils and all that sort of stuff off of them, and then I take a dedicated wire brush that I only use on aluminum to brush the oxidized coating off of them on both the nipple and the mating flange that it's getting welded to, just to ensure a clean weld all the way around. As I get ready to final weld this nipple on there, I do drop the machine down to about 100 amps, keep the flow rate of argon about the same, and I'm just using my foot pedal to control once I see the puddle and know how hot it has to be. Here we are. We have got the nipples welded onto the intercooler now. Kind of shooting down, go here, it's going to wrap around. Come right up, kind of made a little bit of a change. I think I'm going to jet to the left here with the intercooler piping. I am going to shorten this up, so it's going to end up being kind of somewhere close to right here. Just going straight down. Let's see if I can show you what's there. Yeah, just going straight down, and then it's going to jet back over, straight over to just below the frame rail, back over there. And yeah, come around over here, just kind of straight out, do a loop, and then we're gonna 45, hopefully get a 45-degree coupler just to go straight up into there. And that's what we are gonna do with the cold side of the intercooler. So yeah, hot side piping. Haven't really thought too much about that yet. Plan on just doing that after I do the cold side piping. Pretty straightforward. Cut up some pieces. If I have anything to show you along the way, I will do so, but otherwise, yeah, probably gonna cut 6 inches off of here, probably get it as close as I can, as tight as I can to this 90, and then it'll drop it down. So yeah, we will get to doing that, and hopefully it all works out. So it's kind of trial by fire. See if it works, see what doesn't, and kind of go from there. So I've only got so much piping, so we will hopefully I can make it through with all of this and not have to buy any more. All right, cut that piece. Yeah, cut it quite a bit shorter. It's gonna be dropping just on the right side of my crank bolt down there, which will be perfect. I'm gonna have to cut this a bit shorter to get my other L on there. But yeah, so we want to take a look underneath a minute. I'm not sure how much light is down here, how much you're gonna be able to see, but here is the pipe coming down, and then we're gonna throw another 90 on it, coming down over, straight across over to here. It's gonna run just like that. Then there's gonna be a 180-degree bend coming right around over to the front, right over there. So yeah, gonna be working on this angle piece next. Make sure I get my height right, tuck it up pretty close to the bottom of the frame rail over here. And yeah, I got a couple obstacles. Want to make sure I've got room for my oil feed out of my dry sump tank over to my oil pump, which is right here. So just got to keep in mind of that, but shouldn't cause really any issue. Alright guys, I have got the cold side of the intercooler piping plumbed up. Walk through that in a second, but getting ready to do the hot side piping. Cold side is just after the intercooler cools the air, hot side is before the intercooler cools the air, so that's the terminology there. But only have a few pieces left. Kind of went a little crazy. I used 290 degrees as well as a U-bend here. Could have used one of those 90s on this side, but I've got a U-bend, although I kind of need to use that as well. But I've also got these a couple 90-degree couplers that I can use to make it work. So yeah, I'll take the camera here a moment. Alright, so we'll start up top here. We have got the intercooler piping going. This is actually going to sit a little bit away from the radiator, going to have slim fans in here. Might be pretty close, but I can kind of fudge it with the couplers if I need to. So we've got a 90 here going down, dropping over to another 90 down there. Then it goes around under the frame rail over there, back around into a U-bend, 45 up into the intercooler. So that is pretty much it for the cold side. The one thing that will be left is my waste, or my blow-off valve is going to be somewhere in this area right here. So yeah, now I've got my turbo here. Turbo needs to be clocked a little bit more, get it away from my oil pump, and kind of split the difference between that bolt there and the oil pump. So it's got to clock the cold side of the turbo a hair to get that down. Then I'm going to do something similar on this side. Got a 45-degree coupler that's going to go here, a U-bend. It's going to go around, and yeah, U-bend is going to go around. It's going to end up coming out right here, and then we're going to need a 90 over and 90 to jog back up. Not super difficult. I've only got, let's see what I've got left. I've got two 45s, a straight and a half, and a U-bend. Probably not going to use these 45s, I don't think. Just put too many bends in it, and I don't really need that to happen. I don't like using this many couplers, but without planning it all out like I should have done, I'm kind of left with what I have, and I don't want to buy another set. I've got what I need to complete it here. If I start blowing a lot of couplers, then I will configure and go from there. So on the cold side, I still have to do the blow-off valve, get the blow-off valve on there. But then the intercooler piping will be pretty much done. So need to figure out a port somewhere for my map sensor, but I will figure that out at a later date. So gonna get to going, kind of show you what I'm working on, and yeah, so like I said, 45 around, it's gonna go under the frame rail, and then it's gonna 90 back towards the back of the car, and then 90 up into that the Chinese war whistle there, and we will go from there. These silicone couplers on Amazon, and they were extremely long, so I used a piece of pipe to support them while I cut them to make sure they're nice and even. So, cut my coupler down. Just gonna try sticking on this U-bend, see what it looks like. We can always take it off and cut it down, kind of see where we need to line up. And I want to keep this end short. I don't want to stick it out too far that way, because it's gonna start interfering with the bumper and stuff, even more than it probably already is. So I'm gonna toss it on and go. Like I was saying, I want to keep this as short on the outside of it as I can, so I am going to cut off basically as much as I can, leave about an inch or so as straight, maybe a hair more than that, just so I can get a coupling on there and get a good seal. I am going to have to end up cutting this side as well, but we'll get this in place where we want it, mock everything up, figure it out, and then we'll mark it and do that. I think the accumulator for the AC is going to get in the way. I'm going to pull that out for now. My plan originally was to keep AC in this car. That is still my plan, but right now I am just trying to get the car running and driving. Start doing that stuff a little bit later and do any modifications I need to there. That way, modifying the intercooler pipe isn't going to be too terribly difficult. I'm going to need a new accumulator anyways, not sure if it's the same size or anything like that. So, and I need all new lines, so if need be, I can move the accumulator or whatever. So not too worried about that, but I am going to pop that out, undo that hard line, take that out just so it's out of the way, so I have as much clearance as I can. I'm really concerned. I want to get my bumpers and stuff back on this car, make it look as stock from the outside as I can. So, yeah, gonna start pulling that out and cutting this down. Going from there, probably gonna cut pretty close to 4 inches off of this. We'll keep on trucking. Alright, so I got that piece cut down on the intercooler side. It's going to have to be cut down here. I've got this coupling that's going to go on there. It's going to sit right around there. So that piece has got to get cut back to about the frame rail. Maybe a hair past the frame rail. So I'm going to mark it at the frame rail just because that's what I can see, and I'm going to cut it about 1/4 to 1/2 inch back from there. Got a little bit of play in these couplers, so you don't have to be super precise. Obviously, the closer you get it, the better everything's going to fit, but like I said, there's a little bit of room in these couplers. So yeah, I'm going to cut that there, throw the coupler on, and then we're going to see what I need to do. I'm actually probably going to clock this turbo here. I don't know if you can see that. Tilt you up a little bit. So I'm gonna clock the turbo. If you've never done that, it's pretty straightforward. Basically just need to loosen these screws on the back holding the front cover on. Then you can just kind of turn that whatever way it needs to be turned. So I am gonna do that a minute, just kind of split the difference here. In a perfect world, I would have, not necessarily a perfect world, but I would have gotten rid of the windshield washer fluid reservoir and built my manifold so the turbo sat a little bit further this way, so I knew it was going to sit right next to the frame rail. But like I said earlier, there is a little bit of room in these couplers. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. If it starts blowing off, then I will address it as that happens, but if not, then that's awesome. So like I said, going to clock this a little bit. Just got to turn it about 5 degrees or so, get that in place, and then I'll cut this pipe, throw my 90-degree on, and then it should just be a little piece of straight pipe, 2 little pieces of straight pipe basically, because I've got a 90 over and then I've got a 90 up. So I need a piece of straight pipe here just to connect that other coupler, and then a piece here to connect it to this coupler. So yeah, it's a little more couplers than I like to normally use, but it is what it is at this point. So let's do it. All right, well, there she be. Got a lot of rubber silicone right there, but kind of is what it is for today. So, yeah, 90's down. We've got a 2.5 to 3 inch reducer. Goes down to a 90, over to another 90. Going around, you can kind of see the pipe underneath there. Going to a U-bend, back up into the intercooler. Then from this side, got a U-bend going around. I kicked it over. You can kind of see where it's sitting instead of going straight down at the throttle body. So you can kind of see, yeah, I kicked it over instead of going straight down right here. Reason being is I've got coolant hose here, oil plumbing down there. It's just going to kind of free up some space. I don't have any other stuff sitting in this area right here, so figured I could move it over a little bit. So yeah, U-bend to a 90 down at the bottom, up to a 90, and then a 3-inch to what I believe is a 4-inch reducer, 90 going into the throttle body. Blow-off valve is going to end up here, but yeah, otherwise my intercooler piping, I mean, it's pretty much done. I've got to bead roll all the edges of the pipe that I cut. That way it's got a good surface to seal up against. Don't want any leaks or anything like that, but it's tucked up almost as close to the frame rails and as tight as it can get. So I am hoping, fingers crossed, that the bumper fits. If I need to drive it without a bumper on, I'll drive it without a bumper on. Getting pretty close to the wiring stage. Need to plumb up cooling system. I still have to plumb up my oil line. Yeah, I got to work on spark plug wires, cooling system, thermostat, fueling, drive shaft, brake work. We're getting close. So, yeah. Until next time, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I'm going to try to start posting to the channel more. Just been super busy and lots of stuff going on. Car's been getting neglected a bit, and I apologize for that, but I'm trying to get back on it, trying to get motivated again and get going. That's why I'm trying to just get the car on the road and get driving. So having the intercooler piping is really it's a pretty big hurdle, so got that done. But yeah, now just one day at a time. Hopefully it'll be running soon. Yeah, like, follow, subscribe to the channel. OTLmotorsports.com. Haven't really been doing a whole lot with the website, but if you log on there, feel free to send a chat, and if you don't see anything you're looking for or need some help with something specifically, I don't have all the parts I can get on that website yet. Just haven't really had time to mess with it too much. So it is there if you guys want to check it out, but if not, yeah, thanks for all your support, and hopefully this thing will be on the road soon. Right on. See you guys.